Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtadarshita Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtadarshita Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 2, text number 18. Param param padam Vaishnavam mananti tad yaneti netitya tad utsishkrasav. Wow, that's a hard word. Yaneti netitya tad utsishraksva. Vishrajya doratmayam ananyasohrdha Ripopagunyara padam pade pade Param padam Vaishnavam amananti tad Yaneti netitya tad utsishkravsavaha Vishrajya doratmayam ananyasohrdha Ripopaguyara padam pade pade Param padam Vaishnavam amananti tad Yaneti netitya tad utsishkrisvavaha Vishrajya doratmayam ananyasohrdha Ripopaguyara padam pade pade
Param Vaishnavam Amanantita Yaneti Netyatad Vishrajyador Atmyamananya Sohra Param Pade Pade Padam Vaishnavam Amanantita Yaneti Netyatad Utsishkrishavaha Vishrajyadoratmyamananya Sohra Vidropaguyara padam pade pade Param Vaishnavam amanantita
Yaneti netitya sadhu siskrava Atmyam ananyasohrdha Hridopaguyara padam pade pade. Anyone else would like to chant? Glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Param Padam Vaishnava Mamanantitad Yaneti Netitya Sadhushishkrava Vishujyadoratmaya Mananya Sorida Hidopaguyara Padam Pade Pade. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that supreme situation in which everything is related with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, Mad Dhamma, my abode, is mentioned several times, and according to the version of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, there exists the ultimate spiritual sky, wherein the planets are called Vaikunthas, or the abode of the Personality of Godhead. In that sky, which is far, far beyond the material sky and its sevenfold covering, there is no need of the sun or the moon, nor is there necessity of electricity for illumination. Because the planets are self-illuminating and more brilliant than the material suns, pure devotees of the Lord are absolutely in harmony with the Personality of Godhead, or in other words, they always think of the Lord as their only dependable friend and well-wisher. They do not care for any mundane creature, up to the status of Brahma, the Lord of the universe. Only they can definitely have a clear vision of the Vaikuntha planets. Such pure devotees, being perfectly directed by the Supreme Lord, does not create any artificial perplexity in the matter of transcendental understanding by wasting time in discussing what is Brahman and what is not Brahman or Maya. Nor do they falsely think of themselves as one with the Lord, or argue that there is no existence of the Lord separately, or that there is no God at all, or that living beings are themselves God, or that when God incarnates himself, he assumes a material body. Nor do they concern themselves with many obscure speculative theories, which are in actuality so many stumbling blocks on the path of transcendental understanding. Apart from the class of impersonalists or non-devotees, there are also classes who pose themselves as devotees of the Lord, but at heart maintain the idea of salvation by becoming one with the impersonal Brahman. They wrongly manufacture their own way of devotional service by open debauchery. Is that how you say it? Debauchery? Debauchery. Does everyone know what debauchery means? Yeah, everyone knows? All right, just check. I did not know. I had to look it up this morning. And misled others who are simpletons or debauchees. Is that how you say it? Debauchees? Debauchees like themselves. All these non-devotees and debauchees are, according to Vishwanatha Chakravarti, Duratmas, or crooked soul in the dress of Mahatmas, or great souls. Such non-devotees and debauchees are completely excluded from the list of transcendentalists by the presentation of this particular verse by Sukadeva Goswami. So the Vaikuntha planets are factually the supreme residential places called the Param Padam. Param Padam. The impersonal Brahma Jyoti is also called the Param Padam due to its being the rays of the Vaikuntha planets. As the sun rays are the rays of the sun, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that the impersonal Brahma Jyoti rests on the person of the Lord. And because everything rests on the Brahma Jyoti directly and indirectly, everything is generated from the Lord. Everything rests on him, and after annihilation, everything is merged in him only. Therefore, nothing is independent of him. A pure devotee of the Lord no longer wastes valuable time in discriminating the Brahman from non-Brahman, because he knows perfectly well that the Lord Para Brahman, by his Brahman energy, is interwoven in everything. and thus everything is looked upon by a devotee as the property of the Lord. The devotee tries to engage everything in his service and does not create perplexities by falsely lording it over the creation of the Lord. He is so faithful that he engages himself as well as everything else in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In everything the devotee sees the Lord, and he sees everything in the Lord. The specific disturbance created by a duratma or crooked soul is due to his maintaining that the transcendental form of the Lord is something material. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming to the Bhagavatam class during the lockdown. I guess you guys live here. So, it's a very nice purport which kind of summarizes the whole essence of whatever we do, right? So in the first paragraph, or the first part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about pure devotional service, right? He's saying, what is pure devotional service? What is the definition of pure devotional service? Does anyone remember the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which says the definition of pure devotional service? Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. Very, very popular verse and very, very important for the devotees to remember. Prabhupada used to quote that verse a lot of times, a lot of places. Because this is the definition of pure devotional service. Because a pure devotional service is free from personal motivation, any mental speculation. This is what pure devotional service is. Nothing else is important. Everything else is free of that. That's what pure devotional service means. So why do we need to know this definition of pure devotional service? What are we trying to achieve from this definition of pure devotional service? Like if you go around India, has anyone ever been to India? Yeah, a few people here, some people, almost everyone. So when you go to India and you travel around, everyone has got their own definition of pure devotional service. Like I remember when I went to India, I was spending time with my family, and my mom, she's a demigod worshipper. Well, Sai Baba, demigod, this Baba, that Baba, I don't know. Millions of Babas in India, so you can't really tell. So I told her, what's the authority of this knowledge? You're worshiping someone. That's the highest position. You're giving that person all your time and energy, and you're worshiping that person. But what is that qualification of that person that makes you think that by worshiping this person, I am going to attain the highest goal? What is that? What is that thing? Because based on what I know, why my mom worships this guru or some personality is because her friends worship that personality, and she want to be a part of the team. So she thinks it's okay. That's what everyone's doing that, so I should do that. Just like now we see that one person puts a coronavirus update on Facebook, and there's 1 million people sharing that updates. So it's just like everyone wants to show that I have seen it. I know what it is about. So an intelligent person, smart person, does not just look for what other people are doing. Like Prabhupada mentions the verse debauchery. Is that right? Debauchery. So what does that mean? Like I see my mom's friends, all of them like eat meat. They do many other crazy things that makes them drink alcohol, intoxication. But you see them, why are you doing this? Oh, we got to be free. We got to live our life. We go to temple every morning. We come back, do our work, then drink, and then repeat and repeat and repeat. Is this pure devotional service? To some people that I know, that's pure devotional service. We believe in God, but we don't have to go to the temple. to believe in God. God is everywhere. This is like a very famous line which was put to Prabhupada. Like when someone asked Prabhupada, why do I need to go to temple? Why do I need to come to your temple? God is everywhere. I can see him anywhere. Then Prabhupada very gently said, well, if God is everywhere, that means he's at the temple. Then why not come to the temple? Because see the God over there. So we should remember that the purpose, that's what I try to explain to my family sometimes, but I've given up now because it's a very difficult thing. And people who have tried, they know it. It's hard to preach to your families. Some people are very fortunate to have taken born in devotees' families, so it's very nice. But I was trying to explain it to them, like going to temple affects your consciousness, just like doing other activities affects your consciousness. Going to temple brings you a positive mode of goodness, elevates you to a better platform that makes worship and that makes everything else to perform service for Krishna easy, So that's the whole point of going to temple. We see so many people come to temple, but they also come for different reasons, Like I remember, since I was a kid, I was trained, if you go to temple, ask for whatever you need. If a parent is teaching their children that going to temple is just to ask whatever you need from Krishna or whichever temple you go to, that is not pure devotional service, Nowhere close to that is pure devotional service. Because when you go to a temple and you ask for material benedictions, how can that be pure devotional service? That's why when I read this translation and this text definition of pure devotional service, that's when I realized this is it, This is it. It can't get better than that. You can't explain anyone more detailed than that what is pure devotional service. Free from any mental speculation. Now this is another crazy part that a lot of people confuse. Mental speculation. What does it mean to not mentally speculate? Because in India you go, Krishna says that, Krishna says that. Now even in ISKCON we do that. Prabhupada says that, Prabhupada says that. So, but is that really what Prabhupada says? That is the question. So we should try and not mentally speculate. We should follow the authority. And authority in our time is Guru. If we follow the Guru, we follow GBC. Like for example, GBC has passed laws around the temples during the virus thing to follow certain protocols, and everyone's following it. But in our own devotional service, what is there to follow? Prabhupada used to say that, I'm just quoting someone, I'm not mentally speculating. So Prabhupada used to say that, if you wanna please me, do well together, listen to each other, listen to the GBC and follow, so that be cooperative, be tolerant. That's how we are going to make this society a good society. Because, there are many societies in the world, I know it because I have tried many different societies, being part of different societies. My parents have tried to be a part of different societies. I won't name the few, but I'll share some realizations. So when I was a kid, because my dad wanted me to cultivate mode of goodness, because I was like a heavy sleeper. I would sleep like 11 hours a day back at the day. So my dad wanted me to wake up early in the morning because, it's a good thing. And I wouldn't wake up in my summer holidays when I was in school. I wouldn't wake up before 12 or 1. I'll go to sleep at 1 or 2 or maybe 4 some days, playing video games and many other crazy stuff. So my dad wanted me to wake up, and there was this some classes going by some Baba or some yogi. He was coming in very close neighborhood. He was doing a lecture, and he's yoga classes and etc., etc. So my dad said, if you go to that class, if you attend, it was a 7-day program. He said, if you attend this 7-day program, I'll give you 2,000 rupees. Then you can buy whatever you like. I'm like, that sounds a good deal. Good way to make money, yeah? Just got to do 7 days, wake up every morning, go to this Baba and see what he's up to. You don't even have to really care. Just go there and just space out, That's what you have to do. So I can give it a try, So went there the first day. So he said a little things. I still remember that day. He said these few things, doing his preaching part of thing. And then he just said to meditate. Meditate. He just said meditate. Like, how do we meditate? What do we meditate upon? He didn't say that. He just said, close your eyes and just meditate. Like, what am I meditating upon? So 99% of people in that room went to sleep. What else did you expect? If you tell people to close your eyes and just meditate, what the hell does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. People will just go to sleep. So, and I was like, because I'm a cheeky bugger, I'm like, got my half eyes open and, trying to see what this guy's up to, The guy who's telling everyone to meditate what he's doing. And then I saw he's just like walking around, moving around. He's also speaking. He was like texting as well on his phone. I'm like, doesn't he need to meditate? Doesn't he need to lead by example? So that was the time I was like doubtful. I'm like, no, this cannot be a bona fide guru. If he's not following what he's telling other people to follow, how can this person be a bona fide guru? Or how can this person be able to run a society? It's not going to work like that. And then it was because my father was trying to be like very superior, so he offered this guru to come and stay at our place for those 7 days. So he was living like upstairs, and we were living downstairs. And so this guru, so-called guru, also had servants, like 3 or 4 servants helping him and stuff. And he was living with his missus, so that was also there. So so now, I was like, I thought, because I'm going 7 days to something. I'm getting 2,000 rupees. That's a gain for me. But I also want to know if this is a genuine guru, because he's living at my house and my parents are really into him. I want to see the details. I want to see if he's a bona fide person. But at the time, I did not know what bona fide means. I did not know what's the definition of that bona fide person that we are looking for that can be classified as a guru. Don't know that. So, but I knew that somewhere in my heart, I will know if this guy is genuine. Because everyone can tell, we are book distributors. We have experienced that so many times, If sometimes we go out on the street, we try to give a book to someone, they will take it. And sometimes they don't, because they don't see that genuine nature that we want to give someone that book, If you there's so many social workers out there. I was speaking to one of the managers of these charity workers we see on the streets, especially on Pitt Street. There's always charity workers. So I was speaking to one of the managers. I'm like, what makes you do this thing? What's keeping you going? It's like the hardest thing in the world to do, irritating people. Very, very disturbing thing for your mind. And she's like, oh, well, because I'm good at it. I'm good at irritating people. So that's why she likes to do it. And she was happy about it. I'm like, well, but how long can you go? That's the question. How long can you go? And she was sharing that the average person who comes and joins this kind of work lasts about 3 weeks. And they change jobs because they can't keep doing this anymore. 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours every day, 5 days a week. Can't keep doing that. And different charities. So that's when I realized we have book distributors in our society that have been going over 40 years doing this service, What makes them keep doing this service? What is that thing? What is that spark in the heart that's coming and telling them every day, 8 hours nonstop, keep doing this service, Because this is not any ordinary service. This is the highest service. Prabhupada calls this service samadhi, This service is non-different from being in samadhi. So, but now we have a little break so we can focus on our sadhana and get some devotee association. So I wanted to focus on that point. I wanted to see what's the genuinity of this. Genuinity, is that a word? So you get the point, right? I wanted to see if this guru is a bona fide guru. So I sneaked out after 9. So my curfew was 9 p.m. I can't get out of bed, out of the room after 9 p.m. So I sneaked out after 11 o'clock or something and went upstairs, and just because I had a spare key. I knew where the spare key is hidden, so I just barged into their space, just trying to sneak in and see what these guys are up to. And as soon as I went out of my apartment, I went outside just to go upstairs, and I saw in the balcony one of the servants was smoking cigarette. And I was like, why is he smoking cigarette? Is that authorized? Is that okay for yogis to smoke cigarette? Just like Maharaj was giving the example of chai drinker of the yogi. Yeah, this is not a yogi. Smoking is even worse than that. It's still a form of intoxication. So I'm like, is that okay to do? I don't understand. Then I saw the guru came out and joined for a smoke. I'm like, that's definitely not authorized. I don't think so. I was like, what, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid? I'm like looking at them like, I don't think they should be doing that. Because everyone's doing that outside. What makes them anything different than other people? So, I went there, woke up my family at 12 midnight, say, you should come and see what they're doing, These guys are not bona fide people. But my dad's like, now go to sleep, like when you sleep, you just want to sleep. Don't want to be disturbed by anything else. So that day I realized that I'm not going to look. I'm not going to search around for any gurus and stuff, because it's very difficult in this Kali Yuga world to be a genuine bona fide guru. And what is this? There's this thing that I always that I really believe, that the success of a guru is to see how well he has trained his disciples. If you look at a disciple of that guru or the students of that teacher, you can tell a lot about that guru. How qualified is that guru? So I was very fortunate to have met the devotees in New Zealand, and with them, spending time with them, every single second I realized they are Krishna conscious. And how are they doing this? Every single second, no bad habits, like especially the senior ones, Young ones are a bit of wild, with like things done in a material and spiritual balance. That's what they call it in a way. So, well, there's no balance in the spiritual world, only spiritual. We are spiritual beings in the material body, not the material beings in the spiritual body. So this is something we should remember. So there's a beautiful point of pure devotional service, and how can we see these disciples or students are bona fide? Because they have that quality, They have that desire to please the guru. I remember His Grace Naveen Narada Prabhu was sharing a beautiful story of his book distribution times, that he was in some place in India, he was giving out, doing book distribution, and these very famous or a very big time guru walked past, and he showed him the book. And that guru was like insulted, like he thought, I am guru, he's trying to offer me something, like he's trying to give me knowledge, I am giving other people knowledge. So he just looked at Naveen Narada and said, what qualification do you have to offer me this book? What is your qualification? And he just humbly said, I am just the servant of the servant of the servant. And the guru was very pleased. He tapped him on his head and said, good boy. Took the book and went. So this is our qualification, is to be the servant of the servant of the servant. But how can we be a good servant if we have quarrels, if we have fights among ourselves? How are we going to achieve the highest goal if we judge each other's intentions of practicing devotional service? What about our own devotional service? What about our own intentions, This is the current big problem around the world, It's none different. Even it's hitting ISKCON, it's hitting devotees as well. That judgment, we want to pass judgment about other people. We want to see what's his qualification to be a mentor or a guide or a teacher, So this is something we should remember. Before we look into other person's consciousness, we should focus on our own consciousness, because self-preservation is the first business of the mind, Our mind will always tell us, I am a good boy. I am doing just fine. It's the other people who are doing it wrong, I am just doing fine. So, but we should remember, mistakes happen. We are still in this Kali Yuga world, and there's a lot of influence that we bring with us. There's a lot of baggage that we carry. So sometimes we will make mistakes. Sometimes we will disrespect devotees. Sometimes we will say things that we did not mean to. But what should we do, Because we are affected by the modes sometimes. So Prabhupada says that we're always in Maya. Sometimes we come in Krishna consciousness. So, he says that because there is a reason behind it. So we should remember, mistakes happen, but we should not be puffed up to think that I have done something. No, I don't care about it. If you have made a mistake, and a little thing inside your heart is telling you that you have done something wrong and you don't feel good about it, you should go and apologize. you should go and apologize to the devotee you've offended, or whatever you have said, even the devotee not offended, but if you had something that you don't feel comfortable that you have said something like that, just apologize. I remember my mentor once told me in New Zealand, he said that people like me, like we like to talk, like he was relating it to him as well. He said, we are talkers, we say things that will definitely offend people most of the time. So I'm like, what should we do? Because I was having troubles with association of devotees, and I went to him in the ashram and I said, how do I deal with this problem of not offending devotees? Like, I can't stop it, Even whatever I say, just somehow I end up offending the devotees. So what should I do? And he gave me 2 good advice, very practical. He said, first of all, you should apologize, because that's the best you can do. If you make mistake, or if you didn't even make mistake, if you feel like you made a mistake, just apologize. Because devotees are very kind, devotees are very humble. Well, they're trying to be humble, and they appreciate if someone's coming and apologizing to you. That breaks their heart, that softens their heart, and they will feel better. So the essence of a good relationship among the devotees, that's one of them, Just apologize to each other and just glorify that devotee, do some service for that devotee, and try to do your best. And the second most important advice that he gave me, I still love that advice. Everyone knows, a lot of people here know, I've told them. He said that don't keep hate in your heart, because you can't go too far with that. Because there'll always be that one person, Wherever you are, wherever you go, there'll always be that one person where you think that if this person goes, life will become easier. Everything will become very easy if this person is not here, Has anyone ever felt like that, or is it just me? Yeah. It's easier sometimes, we think like that, right? We think like, if this person goes, man, I'm having so much trouble with this person, dealing with this person. If he goes, I will definitely become Krishna conscious. That is the first thing we should remember. If that person goes, we will never become Krishna conscious. So if you really want to become Krishna conscious, you should remember that point, that there'll always be that one person. So we need to learn and train ourselves in dealing with all sorts of people, This is a preaching movement. We need to learn. People come from different backgrounds and different experiences. So we can't just say, I like this guy and I don't like this person and I want to just deal with that and don't deal with that. So if you make a group in an ashram or something like that, and you leave some people aside, how is it going to work? We need each other to run this movement. We need each other to run the society. So we should be very careful with our dealings with the devotees. It's a lost skill, dealing with people. It takes a lot of efforts, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy. So we should try and do our best, give it a best shot. If we have problems, just speak to your mentors, speak to your gurus, see, this is the thing. But just try to do service with each other. And that will break all barriers. That's what I feel. So this is something I was thinking about and I wanted to share about devotee association. Because one of the most crucial things, in our society is the devotee association. Anywhere you read Prabhupada's books, devotee association will always be the essence of that point. Because without the devotee association, nothing exists. And nothing will there ever be, So we should try and remember that point. That we should be very careful and conscious of how are we associating with the devotees. And sometimes we should take this opportunity to associate with devotees. Many times we don't even do that. Many times we don't even consider that. We just want to be in our own, I got to do my sadhana, my chanting, my reading. When I'm taking prasad, I just want to be taking prasad, and not try and speak to other devotees, trying to be that introvert person, do my service. Just don't be bothered, Many times we think like that. But we should remember, if we want to make advancement, devotee association is the most crucial. Because we are social beings, right? We need that association of others with us. So better to take association of devotees than take association of non-devotees. That's even worse, I can tell that because I have been in that experience before. If you associate with non-devotees, it took me 3 days when I was away from devotee association, it took me 3 days to crash. But I knew it, I'm crashing, so I need to pick my game up, get back in the game. How do that? I wrote to my Guru Maharaj, saying, well, you're missing devotee association. And that's when I get devotee association, I'm back. Because devotee association will help you advance in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, very difficult. I can guarantee you that. So, just remembering that point, and there's another few beautiful points that Prabhupada is making in this purport about having a crooked attitude. We should not have a crooked attitude. We should remember that this is all Prabhupada's. This whole society, it's Prabhupada's society, not our society. We are just serving in this society. Sometimes we get, like I have a temple. Like I remember this story I read from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was sharing about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that we are very good at pointing faults in other people, He was saying, like, this is a story, I'm just paraphrasing, but I think the essence will still be there. So, he said one day a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and said that these devotees are not doing their service properly, they're not even chanting properly, and nothing is like, they're not like doing their service properly, it's very, 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 they just want to sit there and just do their own thing, they don't want to follow, they don't want to do anything like that. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not reply, he did not say anything, and some hours or maybe some days, I don't know, later he called this person and he said, is that the devotee you're talking about? And he said, yes, she's the one. This guy is just not doing his service properly. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati asked him, what is he doing right now? He said, he's chanting. He's like, well, I am not chanting. He's chanting. He's more advanced than me. He's trying to be Krishna conscious every second. Prabhupada says, every second, if you want to be a pure devotional service, every second you need to remember Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said to this disciple that, look, he's chanting, I'm not chanting. He's more advanced than me. That's when the devotee realized, that's when the disciple realized that how advanced the Guru is, He's able to put himself down just to protect his disciples and try to create a good relationship among the disciples. So, this is what we should remember. We should not judge other people's motivation. We should only judge our motivation and what other people are doing. We're there to help and advance people as well, If we are advancing, we need to help other people. That's why we're bringing it to Krishna. But that doesn't mean that we go judging what this person is doing or is not doing, Our job, if someone asks you for help, you help. You tell them, Prabhu, as a friend, I'm advising you, this is a good thing to do. But everyone's got to fly their own airplane, right? That's what Prabhupada says. Everyone's flying their own plane. So, this is another point I was remembering, I was thinking about, and it's almost time. I'm just going to finish by sharing this Prabhupada pastime. It's a very nice pastime I like. So, one day Prabhupada was sitting. It's about how to please Prabhupada, like what can we do that will really please Prabhupada. And I actually had a different one, but somehow the different one is coming in my mind now. So I'm just going to share that one. So it was about how one day when there was a Harinam going on and devotees were jumping and dancing and Prabhupada was there and everyone was just... And that was the time when the books were just started to print and these books were just coming out. And Prabhupada saw Hridayananda and some devotees and his wife were distributing Prabhupada's books. And this disciple who was sharing this story, he said he was sitting right next to the feet of Prabhupada. And he was feeling like, this is it, I'm sitting at the lotus feet of Prabhupada and that's the best, That's like, and he was constantly watching Prabhupada, what he's doing. And the whole Harinam was going on, but not for a second he said that Prabhupada paid attention to the Harinam. He was just paying attention to Hridayananda and his wife distributing books. And he was like constantly looking and seeing the efforts and seeing what they're doing, if they're doing it the right way. So he said that's when he realized if you really want to please Prabhupada, distribute his books. Because nothing is more dear to Prabhupada than book distribution. But there's another point I'd like to add to this point. How we do that also plays a big impact. Prabhupada was very careful. There's many places in Lilamrita or many other books where Prabhupada says devotees need to learn how to distribute books, and do it the right way. The main goal of this book distribution is not just to distribute books. If you think going out there and giving books to someone is the only goal, it's not. It's also to leave a good impression, especially in today's time, because everyone hates being part of a religious cult or an organization. And leaving a good, positive impression is very important, because not necessarily that person will take a book in the first go. We know that. We have that experience. So they will likely to meet devotees again. So if they meet this devotee again, and they've had a bad impression in the first time, it'll become very difficult for them to take towards devotees, become favorable towards devotees. So my Guru Maharaj has this line, especially in Wellington where we preach, because it's a small place, My Guru Maharaj says that you should treat people like you'll see them again, because you will. So just try to remember that point, When you go on books, just be humble. Even if they don't take books, just let them take a good impression. Because that good impression, first impression is the last impression, So if they had a good impression in the first time, they will be very pleased to take book the next time, because the fruit will be more ripe that time. So we should just try to remember that point, that just leaving the good impression is one of the most crucial things to run a society in today's time. So I'll end with that. If anyone's got questions, comments, corrections, now is the time to speak. Was that? Yeah. Yeah.
So, but most of the time we have this tendency of finding organizers, that's an opposite. We may not be able to present the good in others. So how to do that?
Yeah, it's a difficult art. As I said, it's a lost skill, finding good in other people. It's not a natural thing that comes from our heart in this material society. We're not being raised as pure devotees since very young age. We come from a crazy world, and nobody trains you in that skill. So it takes art and effort. And 6 principles we have with the devotee association. If we just follow that will help you understand that person better. Everyone's got faults, You can look at the other person's fault. Like I used to do that all the time. Like when I'm chanting, I'm looking at the people. This guy's falling asleep. That's not pure chanting. What is he doing? Hey, wake up, you should not be sleeping. There's my mind going all the time, constantly, And looking at another person while chanting, he's looking around, like, what is he doing? He should not be looking like that, He should just be focused on chanting. That's what I used to think like. Then one day I realized, hey, bro, what are you doing? You're looking at that person while you are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you're looking at that person, or looking at that person. That's not pure chanting either. So why not focus on your chanting first, and then point fingers at other people chanting, So the mind, this is, as I said, this is the first business of the mind, is to think that you are doing okay. You're doing it okay, and everyone else is doing wrong. So, but that's why we need to look in the intelligence part. Just wait and see, why do I think, what's wrong with that person? Like if I think there's a fault with that person, I usually try to see why did I think that? Do I do the same things? Have I never done things like that? How has I changed, Like how is he doing anything different than me? That's what I try to ask myself. And that does help many times, In fault finding, sometimes we should be very careful of choosing the words, Sometimes, like in communication, because I've studied communication, they said words can do more damage than a sword, So it's a very, very dangerous tool. So we got to be very careful every second how we use it. Because a sharp word can, if you put someone a sword through his belly, he's going to die. He's going to leave the body right away, most likely. But the words stick to your mind for a long time. They're like little pinch. They're just pinching your head constantly every second. Why did this person say that to me? And it just kills you inside slowly. So the best time is to not even say words like that. Prabhupada says that in his purports. We know that, right? He said how should be very careful at how we speak to people. We should be very, even if we feel like saying bad things, we should not say it out. Unless it's, coming from a senior devotee or a mentor under closed circumstances. So fault finding will always be there. When you're trying to find fault in other people, the best thing is to just find faults in you. And see, like as I give this story of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, he's doing better than me, because he's not chanting right now. So that's what he's trying to say, that don't find faults in other people. Find faults in you first, and then things will be easy. Because when you do that, you'll realize I even have more faults than that person. He's doing devotional service, And we should try and associate with that person, not just leave it to hate, just like, I don't like this person. I don't want to deal with him. Unless you have tried many other things, you tried different things, it didn't work out, then probably you can try that, but it's not very much recommended, because then there will be divisions and separations, living in an ashram or like imagine one of my mentors, he's a Grihastha mentors in New Zealand, he was saying that living in an ashram is very easy. You can choose who you want to associate with, but in a Grihastha ashram, very difficult. Because you only have that one person you have to associate with, even if you like it or not. You just can't leave things hanging. Because you will have to deal with that at some point. So just deal it right away. And clear it. And get it out so it's sorted. And you don't have to bother in your head that this person did that to me. I wanted to, sometimes we have this argument in our head where other people don't know we are having an argument. Has anyone ever had that argument? So we should try and avoid that, because that's just wasting our time. Time is the most precious tool. We should not waste in these minor things. Does it make sense? Does that answer your question? Yeah, well, we're almost after time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Prabhupada ki jai.